Carl Higbee is a Navy SEAL veteran and Trump supporter. Matt Bennett is co-founder of Third Way and served as deputy assistant to President Clinton. Welcome to both of you. Good to have you here today.
Thank you.
As Rex Tillerson rightly points out, we've had decades of diplomacy. We've given North Korea $1.35 billion in aid over the course of that. And he says we've really gotten nothing for it because the promises have always fallen through to curtail their ambitions in terms of nuclear weapons. Iran doesn't have them yet, Matt. But North Korea does. So isn't it time to deal with them differently?
Well, the question is, what would you do differently? The aid that we've given North Korea has been food aid because otherwise their people would have starved in massive famines. Many did anyway. And so it wasn't really done to control their behavior because they're adolescents in North Korea. They cannot be controlled, but they can be, at least so far, have been contained. And that's been the policy of Democratic and Republican presidents for 30 years. The question is there anything more we can do without an enormous war that would put at risk a huge U.S. ally and 40,000 Americans?
Carl, is there anything more we can do?
Well, absolutely. And I think that to the fact that they were contained, they're not contained because now they have weapons that can reach far outside their own boundaries. There's a lot more we can do in the sense that if one of these missiles leaves the ground again, I say we shoot it down. And if they do it again, we destroy the installation that it came from until they get the message. Military action, it needs to be on the table. But more importantly than the action itself is the notion that North Korea needs to understand that we will take the action and maybe they'll stand down before anything gets too heated.
So now it's on to China. Rex Tillerson will go there. We also know that President Xi will be in Florida with President Trump sometime next month. But this is the tweet that the Secretary of State has to sort of grapple with from the president that he sent out. It says North Korea is behaving very badly. They have been playing the United States for years. China has done little to help. And then I also want to fold into this the sound from Nikki Haley, the ambassador, as she spoke this morning with Bill Hemmer. Watch.
There was a soft approach to China in the past presidency, and what I can tell you now is we're going to go harder on China. We're going to say, look, if you really are wanting to partner with this, if you really are wanting to stop the nuclear testing that's going on in North Korea, prove it.
Matt, what do you think?
Tough talk. We'll see what that actually turns out being. I think that Tillerson is going to spend a lot of his time at State Department cleaning up things that the president does and says, like this tweet this morning. China is enormously problematic, but they are a major player. They are the major player. Everything in Asia revolves around them, and so we have to treat them carefully, not necessarily respectfully all the time, but with some caution, and that is not a Trump strong suit.
What do you think, Carl?
Well, I think that, China is, as he said, a very big player in this. But the fact is that if North Korea is threatening us and our military installations and our allies in the area, then we absolutely need to act. And if China's not going to get on board with us, we need to make it very clear and potentially, at these tables talk about the fact that we may, have to strike some sort of military installation in North Korea without their consent or without their support.
One last question. Matt, it's quite evident that both General Mattis and Secretary of State Tillerson don't have their deputies in place. A number of their picks have been shot down. How problematic is that?
It's an enormous problem, particularly for somebody like Secretary Tillerson, who is new to government. He doesn't know how the State Department is supposed to run, unlike Secretary Mattis, who was a four-star general. Tillerson is basically all by himself. He tried to get a deputy approved, but the White House wouldn't give it to him, and this is a real problem for him. He's home alone over there.
Carl, it makes them appear as if they don't have a lot of power within the White House, especially, when you have meetings with Saudi leaders that are not attended by either one of these individuals. Your quick thoughts.
Yeah, well, this does fall directly on the Senate as well for not cramming them through, but it also falls on the fact that President Trump needs to just have a line of people out the door ready to be appointed with all these things, and it's going to fall on Mattis and Tillerson to get their people in the door, because if they don't, it is going to be displayed as some sort of weakness to our foreign counterparts.
Good points all. Carl Higbee, Matt Bennett, thank you very much.